Something happened between a father and his son on the stages of New York City that had fans reaching for the tissues. And even the young man at the center of it all admitted he isn't ready for it to be over. Joaquin Consuelos, the youngest son of Hollywood's most beloved couple, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, opened up about his Broadway debut in a way nobody expected. And the words he used? They stopped people in their tracks. He said he is already mourning it. And when you hear the full story of what this father and son duo experienced together, you'll completely understand why. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we cover everything in celebrity entertainment, the moments that make headlines, the stories that tug at your heartstrings, and the Hollywood families that feel like they could be your own. Today, we're talking about the Consuelos family, and a chapter in their story that is equal parts beautiful and bittersweet. You already know Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. They are, without question, one of the most genuine, enduring couples in the entertainment industry. Nearly 3 decades of marriage, a morning show that millions tune into every single day, and 3 children they've raised in the spotlight with remarkable grace. But this story isn't really about Kelly and Mark. It's about Mark and his youngest son, Joaquin, and the extraordinary once-in-a-lifetime experience they shared side by side on the grandest stage in the world. To understand just how special this moment is, you have to understand where Joaquin Consuelos started. Before he was a Broadway actor, Joaquin was a wrestler, a serious one. Growing up in New York City, he competed at a high level all through school, earning honors in both athletics and academics. He was known for his discipline, his drive, and honestly, nobody was entirely sure that acting was going to be his path. Even his own parents had doubts. When Joaquin first told Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos that he wanted to attend drama school, the University of Michigan's prestigious School of Music, Theater, and Dance, Kelly and Mark, by their own admission on Live with Kelly and Mark, weren't sure what to think. Mark Consuelos is a celebrated actor. He made his name on the iconic daytime soap opera All My Children, where he played the magnetic Mateo Santos, and, of course, where he met Kelly Ripa, his future wife, back in 1995. He later became a fan favorite on Riverdale, playing the layered and unforgettable Hiram Lodge. And in 2024, he won a Daytime Emmy Award for his co-hosting work on Live with Kelly and Mark, cementing his legacy across multiple dimensions of the entertainment world. So yes, Mark Consuelos knows what it takes. He knows the industry. He knows the pressure. And when your son says he wants to walk the same path, a path with no guarantees, it's natural for a parent's heart to tighten just a little. But Joaquin didn't just walk that path. He sprinted. In May of 2025, Joaquin Consuelos graduated from the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance. And within months, before most young graduates have even figured out their next step, Joaquin had already landed something extraordinary. A Broadway role. Not just any Broadway role. Joaquin made his debut in Joe Mantello's celebrated revival of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, one of the most iconic plays in American theatrical history. He stepped into the role of a young version of the salesman's eldest son, performing at the Winter Garden Theater in New York City alongside Tony Award winners Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a 23-year-old, fresh out of college, sharing the stage with 2 of the most decorated performers in the history of the American theater. That is not a small thing. That is a jaw-dropping debut. The production opened on April 9th, 2026. And in the audience that night, dressed up and beaming with pride, were Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. The family posed together at the opening night after party at Katz's Deli in New York, a photo that fans immediately fell in love with. But here's where the story takes an even more extraordinary turn. Because at the exact same time that Joaquin was making his Broadway debut, so was his father. Mark Consuelos, with decades of television and film work behind him, also made his Broadway debut in April of 2026, starring in a revival of Fallen Angels. Father and son, both making their Broadway firsts, at the same time, in the same city, and that wasn't even planned. In a deeply moving interview published by the New York Times on June 1st, both Mark and Joaquin opened up about what it meant to share this experience together. And what they revealed was the kind of thing that reminds you why family is everything. Mark Consuelos reflected on the surreal nature of it all, saying it took a couple of weeks for both of them to truly realize they were going to be on stage at the same time, calling it something that was interesting and odd and cool all at once. He talked about leaning on his son during the rehearsal process because Joaquin had started rehearsals first. So in a wonderful role reversal, this young man, 23 years old, just starting his career, was the one reassuring his dad, telling him not to be nervous, telling him it was going to be okay. Mark described how Joaquin would joke around every step of the way, with that easy confidence of youth, saying, "You don't need to be nervous, Dad. It's going to be okay." Joaquin, for his part, described the whole experience with a clarity and warmth that felt beyond his years. He called it simply a father-son experience, something they both wanted to do, something they were lucky to be doing at the same time. He talked about the tech rehearsals, famously one of the most stressful parts of any theatrical production, and how, even in those high-pressure moments, both he and his father found comfort in the simple fact that they were going through it together. That is something neither of them will ever forget. And then Joaquin said something that stopped everyone cold. With the run of Death of a Salesman scheduled to close on August 9th, 2026, Joaquin looked at what he'd been experiencing: the lights, the stage, the performance, the bond with his father, and said something with a raw honesty that hit fans right in the chest. "I really enjoyed this," he said, "and I'm already mourning it. Already mourning it. He's still in it. The show is still running." And yet, Joaquin Consuelos is already grieving its end, because he knows something rare when he sees it. He knows that what he and his father have shared over these past weeks is a once-in-a-lifetime chapter. A chapter that, when it closes, will leave a mark, pun intended, on both of their souls forever. This is not the kind of reflection you expect from a 23-year-old standing at the beginning of his career. But it is exactly the kind of depth you'd expect from someone raised by Ripa and Mark Consuelos, two people who have always led with heart, with humor, and with genuine appreciation for the extraordinary life they've built. Fans immediately started reacting to the New York Times interview, flooding social media with comments about what it meant to them. Many pointed to the beautiful symmetry of it. A son who grew up watching his father on screen, now sharing a stage with him in real life. Others were moved by the fact that both Mark and Joaquin maintained that more Broadway is likely in their future, that this debut, for both of them, was not a one-time experiment, but the beginning of a new chapter. And there was something else beneath the surface of all this joy. Earlier this spring, the family had also navigated a deeply personal loss: the passing of Mark Consuelos' father, Saul. Joaquin, in a beautiful tribute, honored his late grandfather after his Broadway debut, tying together grief and celebration in the way only life can. The emotional weight of that context made Joaquin's Broadway bow feel even more profound, as if he carried that love with him onto the stage. Fans who followed the Consuelos family through all of it, the loss, the grief, the comeback to live with Kelly and Mark, and now this, felt like they were watching a family find light in the darkness together. What this story captures, beyond the celebrity headlines and the Broadway glamour, is something genuinely universal. It's about a parent who spent decades building a career, now watching their child begin one. It's about a son who followed a passion his parents weren't sure about and proved that the leap of faith was worth it. It's about two people who found, almost by accident, that they would share the greatest milestone of their professional lives at the very same moment. For Live with Kelly and Mark fans, this story hits even closer to home. Kelly and Mark have always treated their morning show as an extension of their family, sharing the highs and lows with viewers in a way that feels rare on television. Their candor about initially doubting Joaquin's drama school path and then being absolutely floored by what their son became is the kind of honest parenting moment that millions of families recognize in themselves. And for anyone who loves Broadway or theater or simply great storytelling, A father and son making their Broadway debuts in the same season, leaning on each other through the nerves and the lights and the curtain calls. That's the kind of story the stage was made for. Joaquin Consuelos is 23 years old. His run in Death of a Salesman closes in August, and he's already mourning it, not because something went wrong, but because something went so beautifully right. That, perhaps, is the most hopeful thing of all. Because a young man who knows how to appreciate a gift while he's still holding it, that's someone who is going to do extraordinary things with the rest of his career. And we have a feeling that this is just the beginning. For Joaquin, for Mark, and for the Consuelos family, Hollywood's most grounded, most genuine, most quietly remarkable dynasty. We'll be watching. And something tells us, so will all of you. So let me ask you, what do you think of Joaquin Consuelos' Broadway debut? And how amazing is it that father and son got to share this experience together? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this celebrity update, subscribe for more entertainment news and Hollywood stories. New videos every week. We'll see you in the next one.